Yesterday, while my video series 54, we discussed priority sector lending based on the master directions given by Reserve Bank of India by their circular dated 4th September 2020. We also discussed the sectors which are identified by the central bank as priority sector lending. We also understood that the target or the sub-target that are given to the banks is a percentage of adjusted net bank credit or credit equivalent of off-balance sheet exposure, whichever is higher. We also understood how the adjusted net bank credit is derived from gross bank credit. We also learned how to convert an off-balance sheet item into a credit equivalent of off-balance sheet item. Today, with this video series 55, let us understand the overall priority sector target fixed by the RBI and also the targets given to the agriculture sector. The overall target that have been fixed by RBI to achieve the priority sector lending is 40% of ANBC or 40% of credit equivalent of off-balance sheet item, whichever is higher. The second one is the target that has been given for agriculture sector. The RBI has fixed a minimum target of 18% of the adjusted net bank credit or 18% of the credit equivalent of off-balance sheet exposure, whichever is higher for agriculture. Within the agriculture, they have fixed a sub-target for small and marginal farmers. The target fixed is 10% of ANBC or credit equivalent of off-balance sheet item, whichever is higher, as in the case of the overall target and the agri target. But this 10% is to be achieved in a phased manner and by the year 2023-24, all banks should reach this target. So the target that has been given as 10% need not be achieved in one go, but they have given a target. The next year, what should be the target? From 8%, it should go to 9.5%, 9.5 to 10, like that they have given it. In a phased manner, whatever may be the sub-target of 10%, which is to be given to the small and marginal farmers, and the target should be achieved by 2023-24. They have also fixed a target for weaker section. The target given is 12% of ANBC or 12% of CEOBE, whichever is higher. Like in the case of SMF, that is small and marginal farmers, the target which is fixed by the Reserve Bank of India for weaker section also need to be achieved in a phased manner by 2023-24. And one more sub-target which has been given is for micro enterprises. The target that is given is 7.5% of A and B, C or CEOB. The target is already there. So there is nothing to achieve this one. What was the current target? That is repeated. Now, so far, we have understood that the target is given as a percentage of the ANBC or COB, and the overall priority sector lending target that has been given to the banks. Because when we are discussing the target, we are discussing the target that has been given to the scheduled commercial banks and foreign banks which have 20 or more branches operating in India. The target that has been given for agriculture is 18% of the ANBC or 18% of the CEOBE, whichever is higher. So there is a sub-target under agriculture, that is 10% of the CEOBE or ANBC as a sub-target for small and marginal farmers. When it comes to weaker section, the target that has been given is 12% of ANBC or 12% of the CEOBE, whichever is higher. In the case of small and marginal farmers, and in the case of the weaker sections, the target that are being fixed need to be achieved in a phased manner by 2023-24. And there is another target that has been given is the target for micro enterprises. The target is 7.5% of the ANBC or CEOB, whichever is higher. Now, what are the items which come under small and marginal farmers? And what are the things that are there, weaker sections? And how do we identify a micro enterprises? We will understand later when we come to that stage. Now, we will understand which are all the sectors or the subdivisions under marginal and small farmers. First of all, let us understand the definition of marginal farmers. Marginal farmer means a farmer whose land holding is up to 1 hectare. That means that a marginal farmer is defined as a farmer whose land holding is up to 1 hectare. A small farmer is defined as whose land holding is more than 1 hectare but up to 2 hectares. So a marginal farmer means who is a farmer whose land holding is up to 1 hectare, and a small farmer is a farmer whose land holding is more than 1 hectare and up to 2 hectares. There are certain other farmers who are also included under the MSF. They are landless farmers, tenant farmers, sharecroppers, whose land holding is either up to 1 hectare or up to 2 hectares, depending upon the land holding that is prescribed by under marginal and small farmers. They are the landless farmers who is doing on farming on tenancy basis, who is doing it on sharecropping basis, who has got only oral lease. They all come under the marginal and small farmers. There are the self-help groups or the joint liability groups who is engaged either in agriculture activity or in allied services, whose land holding is also as described under MSF. If their land holding fits into that, and if their activity is either agriculture or allied activities, they also come under the definition of MSF. Then any loan up to 2 lakhs given to an individual who is engaged in any agricultural allied activity, there the land holding is not applicable. In case of an individual who is engaged in agricultural ancillary activity whose loan limit is up to 2 lakh, even if the landholding criteria is not complied with, he will also come under MSF. Now let us go to the weaker sections. What is the definition for weaker sections? Any beneficiaries who is coming under the DRI scheme. DRI means differential rate of interest scheme. As you are aware, the Reserve Bank of India is having a scheme which is called as a differential rate of scheme, where the people who are living below poverty line are provided with a loan with rate of interest as low as 4% per annum. So any beneficiary who is eligible for a loan under DRA scheme, and if he is engaged in any activity, he is coming under the definition of weaker section. As you are aware, under DRA scheme, every bank is given a target also, and the target is 1% of total advances. Every bank has to achieve every year under the DRA scheme. Here please understand, this is not ANBC or COB, it is 1% of the total advances of the bank should be directed and given to the beneficiaries under DRA scheme. So we have understood one of the weaker sections. The second one is, any small and marginal farmers can also be classified under weaker section. Any self-help group, any SC/ST, anybody who is having under SC/ST classification comes under weaker sections, and any women beneficiaries whose loan is up to rupees 1 lakh, and any loan given to the minority communities as identified by the central government, they are all examples for weaker sections. So the weaker section, the target that has been given is 12% of ANBC or COB, whichever is higher. Likewise, in the case of small and marginal farmers also, the target given is, sub-target given is 10% of the ANBC or COB, whichever is higher. Now, any other agricultural activity other than what we have discussed so far can be broadly classified into one. We are talking only those which become eligible for priority sector lending. We can broadly classify one, farm credit to individuals. Second is farm credit to either corporates or FPOs, firms, producers, organizations, or firm producing companies, or it could be partnership firms, or it could be cooperatives, etc. So we have come across two things. One is a farm credit to individuals, one, farm credit to corporates, FPOs, that is farmer producer organizations, farmer producing companies, or partnership firms, or any cooperatives. The third one is, this farm to farm credit, all these things come under one category, that is 2. Then the third is infrastructure, agriculture infrastructure lending. Fourth is ancillary activities. So broadly, the agriculture sector which becomes eligible for classification under priority sector lending are broadly classified into farm credit to individuals, farm credit to others other than individuals, say corporates or FPO or FPC, partnership firms, cooperatives, etc. And any agriculture advances given for infrastructure lending, agriculture advances given for any ancillary activities. Now let us try to understand each one of these. First, let us talk about the farm credit to individuals. This consists of, first one is a crop loan. Second one is a term loan that has been given either for purchasing an agricultural machinery or equipment, etc. And you know what is meant by a term loan? A loan which is given generally for acquiring a fixed assets where the repayment is in installments and the repayment period generally exceeds 12 months. Term loans, loan for pre-harvesting or post-harvesting activities, say for example spraying, moving the grading, transporting the produce, etc. come under the pre and the post, insecticiding, adding pesticides, etc. That is pre and post harvest. And anything under Kisan credit card scheme comes under farm credit to individuals. Loans for installation of any solar pumps, loan for installation of any solar plant in barren lands, and loans given against either by pledge of agricultural produce or hypothecation of agricultural produce or against warehouse receipts. You know what is warehouse receipts? When there is a crop season and the farmers, they move the goods to a identified go down and remove the produce as and when it is required. So the storage units give them a receipt called warehouse receipts. Now you know that there are two types of warehouse receipts. One is called negotiable and another one which has come is e-negotiable. That is, you can electronically negotiable it. Another one still continuing with the physical receipt. That is, there is no. Whenever you are giving a loan against a negotiable warehouse receipts or e-negotiable warehouse receipts, if the loan is given up to rupees 75 lakhs for a period of up to 12 months, such loans are eligible for priority sector classification. Suppose the farmer is not having the e-negotiable or the negotiable warehouse receipts and he is holding only a physical receipt, in which case the loan amount is restricted to rupees 50 lakh and the period for which the loan can be given is 12 months. So all these loans do come under the category of farm credit to individuals. Whereas in these cases where there is a crop loan, where there is a term loan, there are no restrictions with respect to the maximum lending. Any amount that is paid, given as a loan is eligible for priority sector classification. Now let us move on to the farm credit to, as I have told you, the second is the corporate farmers. Corporates, like say ITC is an example for that. Farmer producers organizations, farmer producing companies, or companies of individuals, that is corporate, it is also come, and it could be a partnership firm or it could be a cooperative of farmers. All these things come under the category of farm credit to these guys other than individuals. Now, here loans up to rupees 2 crores given either for crop loan or as a term loan for purchasing machinery or equipment which are required in agriculture activity, they are or for given for the pre-harvest or post-harvest activity, are eligible for farm credit to non-individuals. Say for example, to corporates, FPO, FPG, partnership, cooperatives, any loan that has been given up to 2 crore to any of these entities for the purpose of either crop loan, raising the crop, or as a term loan for acquiring any of the equipments or machinery which are required in the agricultural activity, or any loan that has been given for pre-harvest or post-harvest activities, if the loan amount is up to 2 crore, they are eligible for priority sector classification. Now moving to, as in the case of an individual, any loan up to rupees 75 lakhs given for a period up to 12 months against a pledge or hypothecation or against a negotiable warehouse receipts or against a electronic negotiable warehousing receipts, if the loan is up to 75 lakhs, given to any of these will be eligible for classification as a priority sector. Similarly, loan up to rupees 50 lakhs given for 12 months against a physical warehouse receipts will also be eligible for classification under priority sector. Then comes any loan that has been given up to 5 crore. Loans up to 5 crore given to farmer producing organization or farmer producing companies for doing the activity of farming with an assured market at a predetermined rate will also be given and classified as priority sector. That is an early loan which is up to 5 crore given either to an FPO or FPC. The purpose is for farming and there is a ready market available and the predetermined rate is also available. That means you have already incurred into a marketing tie-up with some organization for lifting the goods as soon as the crop is ready. Then in such cases, the loans which are given up to 5 crore to FPOs and FPC are eligible for classification under priority sector. Now let us move to the third one, which is nothing but agri-infra. There is any creation of any infrastructure which is for agri. They are eligible for classification. Any loan given up to say rupees 100 crore from the banking system. When I say banking system means it might have availed by some various different banks under multiple banking or under consortium arrangement for creating a storage facility. Creating a storage facility could be a cold storage facility or a normal storage facility or creation of silos or creation of godowns or creation of warehouses. They are all eligible for classification under priority sector lending when the loan amount is up to 100 crore from the banking system. The second one is any soil conservation activity which is done by a corporate or a big company who are capable of doing it, where the loan amount is up to 100 crore will be eligible for classification under priority sector. Then again, seed production, agri-biotechnology, biopesticides, biofertilizer manufacturing, vermicomposting. They are also eligible for loan up to 100 crore from the banking system. And any biofuel production. Suppose somebody is ready to produce a fuel using the agri-tech, then the loan eligibility is up to 100 crore from the banking system. They all come under the category of agricultural infrastructure. And then it comes to ancillary activities. That is agri-ancillary activities. Any agri clinics, agri business centers, primary agricultural credit societies. Irrespective of the loan amount, any loan given to these activities will be eligible to be classified as a agricultural activity under priority sector lending. Loan up to 5 crore to cooperative societies of farmers for purchase of the produce of the farmers. Any loan given to a cooperative society, agricultural cooperative society up to 5 crore. They should procure the produce from the farmers. If the loan amount is up to 5 crore, will be eligible for classification under ancillary activity. Any loan up to 50 crore for startups engaged in either agriculture or allied activities. And any loan up to 100 crore, as I told you earlier, for agro production or food production comes under the activity of ancillary units. So far what we have discussed is 1. Agricultural targets and the overall priority sector targets. We understood that the priority sector target, overall target that have been fixed is 40% of the ANBC or CEOBE, whichever is higher. And within that, for the agriculture, the target fixed is 18% of ANBC or CEOBE, whichever is higher. And within the agriculture, for the small and marginal farmers, the target fixed is 10% of ANBC or CEOBE, whichever is higher. But similarly, for the weaker section, the target fixed is 12% of the ANBC or CEOBE, whichever is higher. And for the small and marginal farmers and for the weaker sections, the target that have been fixed now has to be achieved in a phased manner by 2023-24. And there is also a sub-target for the micro enterprises, where the sub-target is 7.5% of the ANBC or CEOBE. We also understood what is meant by a marginal farmer, what is meant by a small farmer, what is the definition, and which are all the classification of items which come under the marginal and small farmers. We also understood the items which can be included under weaker section, including we learned what is called as a DRI scheme. Then we said the agriculture as a whole has been divided into farm credit to individuals, farm credit to corporates, FPOs, FPC, partnership firms, cooperatives, etc. We also learned what are the activities which are called as infrastructure lending for agriculture. We also learned what are all the items which come under the ancillary activities. With this, the priority sector part 2 as agriculture is over. I think you have understood what is meant by the targets and sub-targets which are fixed for overall priority sector lending and also for the agriculture with the sub-target classifications. And the next class or the next video, that is a video number 55, we will understand, we will 56, the video number 56, we will go to the micro, small and medium enterprises. So also we will understand a little bit of export targets and education, housing, social infrastructure and renewable energy targets that have been fixed by the central bank as a target and sub-targets to be achieved by the scheduled commercial banks and also the private sector banks or the foreign banks which are more than 20 branches operating in India. If you have understood this, if you have liked it, please press the like button and subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.